Abdi Duale, members of the KETRACO board, management led by CEO Mativo, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning once again. You know, when Chairman, you are standing here and you are giving the story that you drive for 370 kilometers. Chairman was shy of telling me that he drives to Garissa. And because I am close to him, I know he does at least twice in a month. And so therefore, he must be suffering the same fate that I do suffer when I'm driving to Nyeri. And because I have interest in Oloitoktok, even when I'm driving to Oloitoktok, as soon as I'm past Machakos Junction, I lose my favorite as soon as I get to Machakos Junction, I lose my favorite station. Then when I'm driving to Nyeri, as soon as I get past Kambiti, again I lose my favorite station until I get to Karatina. That's when I get it. Then just as after home, that is Narumoro, after that, after a few kilometers, I lose it. And the next point you'll find it is when you're going down Soboiga on your way to Isiolo. So the ironical thing, and as Chairman he had put it, is that on the left side or the right side, there are transmission towers that can be used to ensure that we do have radio FM coverage across. And I believe, I'm not speaking for myself, I believe even you too, when you're driving home, you still do have that challenge. So ladies and gentlemen, we are here on one main reason. We have a symbiotic, we want to ensure that we get a symbiotic relationship. What is a symbiotic relationship? Those of you who went to school and got biology, you know very well a symbiotic relationship is where the two parties are benefiting. So KETRACO benefits in terms of revenue generation, and yourself, you benefit by increasing your coverage, and the Kenyan public benefits because, like I said from the beginning, I'll get my network coverage, my FM coverage across the country. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate you for coming, for creating time, and when I see you here, I do believe that we are joined at the hip and we have a mutual relationship that we want to cultivate moving forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great appreciation that I join you all in this occasion for the launch of KETRACO Tower Leasing Partnership. The OPGW, otherwise known as Optical Ground Wire, and the tower infrastructure of communication services offered by KETRACO provides an important and cost-effective infrastructure for the operations of wireless network services, including mobile networks, fixed wireless access broadband, emergency services, TV and radio broadcast, Internet of Things, and private mobile radio PMR networks. The largest possible user segment of these transmission towers are the mobile network operators, MNOs. It is through these services that similarities or potential areas of possible collaborations between energy and telecommunication sectors are brought to the fore for full utilization for the benefit of consumers and to grow the country's economy. The two sectors, ladies and gentlemen, are interrelated in management of large. Deploying a network in an isolated area can be more expensive for an operator than in the urban area, where the return on investment may not be possible. This is a primary cause of the coverage divide. The State Department for Energy encourages KETRACO to go full throttle by entering viable partnership to fill this void for the good of all Kenyans and the global communities. To this end, convergence of services allows for KETRACO's infrastructure to be leveraged by the telcos, broadcasters, and other communication service providers to deliver reliable connectivity around the country. Through KETRACO, the State Department for Energy has completed 38 transmission infrastructure projects, adding 5,476 kilometers of high voltage transmission lines and 3,537 kilometers of fiber on the national grid. The State Department for Energy is currently implementing 27 transmission infrastructure projects through KETRACO as the country's official transmission system operator, and has planned approximately 5,000 kilometers projects over the next 20 years that will facilitate reliable and stable power across the country and in the region. These projects will see KETRACO's increase in fiber network to 6,600 kilometers beyond the grid matters. An integral component of KETRACO's transmission lines is the OPGW that operates as a ground wire and a communication media. As part of the company's strategic revenue generation strategy, in line with the government's bottom-up economic transformation agenda, KETRACO is offering media houses and mobile network operators the possibility to host the antennas on the transmission towers. Utilization of KETRACO's existing optical fibers and power transmission towers will not only generate income to the company, but will also go along with in facilitating telecommunication and broadcasting companies to expand their network coverage. Some of these towers are strategically situated in areas with excellent signal propagation characteristic. Leasing these towers enables rapid establishment of coverage in regions that are hard to reach. Ladies and gentlemen, when Dr. Kimando was here, you know, Dr. Kimando, if you listen to the president, most of the time he's talking of dollarization of the African economy. True or not true? And when I looked at your pricing model, and probably that is one of the issues that the stakeholders here will raise, is that your pricing model is in a foreign currency. It's important that as we are engaging in this conversation, we open up, including the pricing model, to ensure that the pricing model reflects what the president has been preaching. Number two, Chairman, and I want Mativo to get close to you. For those who have read Aden Duale's book, for the record, you will realize that Chairman is mentioned there as an astute businessman. MD, we were with you in National Treasury after we had the Budget Implementation Committee with the Energy Committee. Then at 5 p.m. we went with you to National Treasury. And the conversation that we are having is how do we win KETRACO and other state agencies off the exchequer. And this conversation that is starting today is one of the areas that we did emphasize. So what am I saying? I'm saying that you merge the book and what the book said about Chairman, you get close to him, you run KETRACO as a business entity, and that now you can be able to easily win off the exchequer. And remember that when I toured India and I met Power Grid, I told you that my dream and aspiration for KETRACO is that by the time we are leaving the office, KETRACO can have a semblance of Power Grid in India. I do believe that that is not a dream that is far-fetched. It has been done. For us, we will not be reinventing the wheel. We'll just be implementing what others have done and have succeeded. And the opportunity is right here with us. And I want to ask you to reflect back. When I was growing up, when I was in high school, we only had, I think, 2 FM stations. That was Metro FM and Capital FM. And Capital FM was only in Nairobi. Metro, at least, we would listen to it in the villages in Nyeri, because I think it came around 1997, 1998. Today, I can't even mention the number of FM stations that we do have in the country. True or not true? Again, in the 90s, when I was growing up, primary school and high school, if you look at the TV stations, Chairman, my home didn't have power. We got power just the other day. So as we used to have a battery, a small solar panel, so we would only be allowed to watch TV from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And even then, we only had 2 stations, that was KBC and KTN. Today, there are thousands of stations that we are able to leverage and watch. What am I saying? I'm saying that the world keeps changing. But the more the world keeps changing, 2 things remain consistent. The integration of telecommunication and power. And so therefore, Ketraco and what you're trying to do, you are on the right footing, and I do want to urge you, and I do want to assure you that you got the ministry's support, you got the president's support. You know very well our president came in with a bottom-up economic transformation agenda. He's focused on ensuring that our parastatals remain not only profitable, but are able to be weaned off the exchequer, such that the exchequer can be able to take care of the social services that are a priority for government, and what we can be able to do for ourselves, we reduce. And that way, we also reduce the burden to the taxpayers. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite you, let us have this conversation, and I bring greetings on behalf of our Cabinet Secretary. He was the one who was supposed to be here with us, but because today is a Tuesday, and we have Cabinet Committee, he was not able to join us. So I bring his apologies and his greetings. Have you received them? Thank you very much. Number 2, I may not be able to stay here for long. I want to tell you that we do have a very good network as a country. We do have a stable, reliable network. And so therefore today we are receiving a delegation from another country. Actually they are in the boardroom right now, because they have come to benchmark on how we generate power. Remember, the Kenyan electricity system is quite decoupled. You have generation being done by Kenyan GDC and IPPs. You have transmission being done by Ketraco. You have distribution and last mile being done by KPLC and REREC. And that way ensures that we do accelerate, and we are hopeful that we shall get to Agenda 7, SDG number 7, where we are talking of having 100% connectivity to all Kenyans by the year 2030. So we have a visiting delegation to a neighboring country that is coming to benchmark on us. So as much as things may look thick, always remember that others who are around you are looking at you as big brothers. And so therefore, let us also look at the positive side of things and look at Kenya as a front runner, having the front movers advantage. Distinguished participants, with these few remarks, I wish to thank you all for finding time out of your busy schedules to attend this launch. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. Let's give another round of applause for our peers. I am not that tall as our peers, so let me try to adjust this mic. Bwana peers, I read somewhere in Energy Post that in some circles you are referred to as watoto. So I don't know, I have not yet captured whether that is the right pronunciation. But it's my prayer that when I grow up someday, I'll join that circle and be able to get the privilege to call you Watoto. Asante sana for honoring our invitation. And so, you have seen how the speeches have gone. You know, usually when you want to know that someone once said that there is usually a thin line between a lengthy speech and a hostage situation. And if you want to know that you are getting yourself in a hostage situation, when you call someone aseme, kabla sijasema machache, hiyo ni state capture. But I'm glad that you have seen the tone that has been set. Our PS together with the team, asanteni sana. Dr. Kimando, our GM for strategy and compliance, research and compliance, has indicated, Wana PS, that we will make changes to the pricing model to include Kenya shillings, so that we reflect where our president would like the nation to go to. Asante sana. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to a session where we will break and have, not really break, but have a team of panelists who will sit here in front, so that some of those burning questions that you've been waiting to ask can be clarified. And so, even myself, when I was looped in to come and help in assisting these, I had to do some background research kidogo, nijue hii tower location, collocation, what does it mean? You know, sometimes it's not nice to just show up. So I did a few research, though today I'm not the expert, because you know, when you don't do your research, you may appear as a madman in a stage. And someone said that sometimes a madman may speak truth or may speak logic, but you just wait for him kidogo. He will soon add something that will confirm to you that his head is still messed up. And so to avoid that, I did a little background research on tower collocation and about the tower leasing. So without wasting so much time, I'd like to invite the panelists to come over so that they may take their seats to my left. So the first panelist I'll call is our MD, Dr. Mativo. Let's welcome our MD as they come over. Secondly, I'd like to invite our manager for SCADA, Fibre and Telecoms, Engineer George Ngugi. Let's give him a round of applause. Thirdly, I would want to call Omalo, our senior officer in charge of Fibre. Let's clap for him as he comes over. And just a minute. Yeah, my mind was telling me that I was heading in the right direction. The fourth panelist, let's give a round of applause for Dr. Njogu Kimando. Yes, so what we are going to do is, gentlemen, there'll be microphone to be passed around. I'll ask Nancy and the team to pass the microphones so that in case you have questions, we may get to answer the question. As you can see, what we have been, what has been sold here is something true, something legit. We are at Ubatishi, so you can see the presentation is all talking about tower leasing, good business, good growth. And I want to add, mambo ni matatu, tafadhali. Tukimaliza hapa mambo ni mangapi? Either mjipange, ama msign contract, ama mtapangwa. But I hope mtapangwa. Asanteni sana. So I don't know who is bold enough to want to give us the first question. Yes, there's a gentleman right next to the door that takes us to the loo. But there's a, for ease of convenience, to my left, there is a door. Once you exit, to the left is ladies, and then to the right is gentlemen. So yes, I think we can receive 3 questions, then we let the panelists to handle, then we'll take another set of questions.
Thank you. I'm Professor Basi Longor from Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology. I'm delighted to be here, and I'm also representing my Vice Chancellor. Now, the peers, the MD, and the presenter, I really want to appreciate the presentation and the insights into all about Ketraco. However, there are two issues that I want to bring up in form of a question. One, it didn't come out the role of the university. The role of the universities and research institutions in Ketraco. What I'm trying to say, are they really integrated? Are they really appreciated? What have been their inputs as far as what has brought us here? Secondly, I just want to say that as a university, we have an opportunity to link up and network with you in so many areas, especially where we may also involve our students for internship and also for attachment. And we look forward to signing a number of agreements or MOU with you. Thank you.
You can pass the microphone to the gentleman behind so that we can get 3 sets of questions. We answer, then we continue. Yes.
Yeah, good morning. My question is, how can we deploy blockchain to have a decentralized network? Because I've realized if we're going to have multiple sites where we have network coverage and you have one site, you have the network failing, I think it could be more cost effective if we can have blockchain so that we can have a decentralized network and where we can have consumers enabling the network by deploying these small cells and mining on the same network so that we can have a system that is decentralized, that can give more wider coverage and should benefit more on cost saving. So we should definitely think about blockchain and how we can use that to enhance the network. Thank you.
Can I have the last one for now?
Yeah, my name is Daniel Ngetich from the Catholic Diocese of Ngong. The Catholic Diocese of Ngong runs a radio, and that radio is in Narok. We cover Narok and Kajiado counties. They're very vast, it's a very vast area. And with this pricing model that you provided there, as I was looking at it, working with $1, it's like 3,000 and something. Is it per day, the fee? Is it per month? Can you give us a figure? How much is it monthly when we lease, or probably when you lease that tower?
Thank you. I believe the panelists have gotten the questions clearly. So maybe we tackle the first 3, then we can take more.
Thank you. I'll do question 1 and 3. Then I'll be assisted by my other colleagues. Professor from Masida University, you have asked about the role of university in Ketraco. Let me say that we have MOUs with universities whereby we do research together. Maybe we have not reached to Masida University, but there is that opportunity. Every year we do have an annual conference whereby we invite participants, and more so from the universities, whereby we have partnered with them. And mostly our research is based on our core mandate, especially on the business we are talking about, and the issue of furtherism we have found to be a challenge to us, and we have invited universities to give us a solution. As far as internship is concerned, Ketraco, yes, we receive interns, but mostly we get them from PSC, Public Service Commission. But where we have specialized areas, especially in technical areas, we are allowed to get few of interns. For their attachment, that one is open, and we can collaborate with the universities, as we have collaborated. Daniel, you have asked about the fees. Our fees is monthly, whereby we charge, though this one we have indicated that we are going to look at the pricing model in USD. The prime areas, I talked of the $35 per core per kilometers. And you find that many of our clients, they do 2 cores, but you can also do 1 core. And to specify where we are charging that 5 USD, mostly this one we are doing in the Ethiopia-Kenya line. But for these others, we are doing 25 USD. But it has been indicated by the chairman of the board. We want to increase on the volume. We are checking on the volume, so we can we are open to discussion as far as the pricing is concerned. Maybe Wamaro will talk about blockchain. Yes, this is a new area, but we can open it for more discussion going forward. Maybe Wamaro, you can, before that, please. Oh, yeah, the 250.
For Edgar's question regarding the use of blockchain technology and any other emerging technologies, my response from KETRACO is that KETRACO is open to new and emerging technologies which we can together explore and see how we can actually maximize on the existing infrastructure. The key word is how can we collaborate and see how the two can converge to offer the services to the end users. Thank you.
Maybe just a comment on the first question, Prof. As Dr. Kibando said, we work closely with universities. We offer internship. We are discussing with some of the universities where we can actually have the lecturers come and spend time in KETRACO facilities, because we have new areas where there's the HVDC line in Suswa. It's fairly new in the region. Okay. Thank you. I've been told that I'm fairly short, so I just start. So I just wanted to confirm that we have MOUs that we need to move forward, and I agree with you, where we incorporate more universities in our R&D, what you are basically doing. So Godfrey Karaoke, the rest of the team are available to enter into details. But the internship, yes, we're picking students, but we've been discussing with universities where we can have lecturers spend time in KETRACO, because we're having fairly new, HVDCs new in the region. So basically, no university is teaching it because it's something new. Our voltages are also higher that don't exist. There's a lot that is happening. I believe we can have a separate sitting with all the universities and see how we can improve that. I'm fortunate outside KETRACO, I mark master's theses and PhD theses for engineering students, so I can see the caliber of theses that come to me for marking as external examiner, and I keep on seeing opportunities for us to increase the level of partnership, also help our students grow, and whether it's using our projects in our places, how we can come and assist to partner with that. So that's an area we are working. The potential for, we're already working, but I'm available here with my team. We can see how to set a date in terms of how to move the studies or the opportunities forward. Thank you so much.
I believe the first 3 questions have been tackled very well. So I'll open the floor for 3 more. This time I'm inclined to favor ladies first. This lady to my right. Gentlemen and ladies, you can see this is a perfect breakfast. Huh? So don't let no one convince you that you came to a wrong breakfast, because you know the guys who have a problem for every solution. You try to bring a solution, they have a problem. Hata ukimwekea nyama kwa mdomo atafune, he says the muscle will get tired. So, but today we are selling you something that is good, that is going to make your business easier, and is going to ensure that your connectivity to your customers is guaranteed. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Violet Omunzi. I work for Kenjan. My question was on the costing. Whatever pricing was provided, is it for dark fiber or capacity? And if someone was to go for dark fiber, like us, there are areas would wish to have dark fiber, what is the pricing? Number 2, with this meeting, is it that we've been given an express authority to procure direct from you, because we procure our fiber through Kenya Power? Thank you.
All right. One more question. Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Francis, the CEO Icon Fiber Solution, a small entity in Kiambu. I'm happy and so delighted to be here today, courtesy of Ketraco. I'm happy once I went and applied for connectivity between Dandora and Mangu. When Mr. Kemando took me for coffee, the challenges we were discussing then, today I see them being implemented. 1, buy Kenya, build Kenya, for Kenyan, and on Kenya shillings. That was a main concern we had during that time. Dollarization, kindly consider changing that. Number 2, I'm happy even when I go and report to my other colleagues, is that you're willing to negotiate on the pricing. That was a concern. And truth be told, we all have remote areas, and during Corona, that is when we realized the internet service providers, our tunaita Sambaza, have an impact on the society. They came in, filled that gap, and at least today, irrespective, sometimes the internet is not that good, but there is some internet, courtesy of the Tier 3 service providers. And if you look at the data on Communications Authority, those who are licensed on Tier 3, we have a list of 104. I don't know how many Tier 3 service providers are here today. Tier 3, I can see some. Tier 3, just raise your hand. Tier 3? Yes. But there are generally 104 plus others. There are others who are not registered. If we can have a good, because it becomes so difficult for us to negotiate on the table when you're mentioning the 7 companies. And our friend here representing Safaricom, when it was being mentioned, we were just smiling together because they are on a different table and we are on a different kitchen. So we would wish also consider having a pricing model for the small service providers, because it is our interest to ensure that we are concentrating on the major towns, because that is where the market is. If we get an opportunity to push the traffic outside the major towns, we believe it will decentralize, and also some of these challenges we are experiencing will. For reliability, we appreciate that has been very good, and also ASP. There are 484. This is the data from Communications Authority. If you go to their website, you will see it. 484. That tells you, out of the 484, I know more than 200 companies who only have application service providers. These are service providers. These are people dealing with internet down there. Okay? How can Ketraco come in and solve the challenges? For example, some of us would wish to take traffic to Turkana and other areas. But now when you go and ask for layer 2 from maybe EADC to Turkana, the cost that you get doesn't make sense. So at the end of the day, you're only left to buy Safaricom or maybe whoever is there, then you now start reselling their service. But if you get a good opportunity, and I don't know if you've ever thought, and this is something we had a discussion with you, of not only providing the dark fiber, because sometimes it is out of reach for the small boys, but if you can consider also having lit fiber, whereby I can come and pick a 10G port or maybe a 1 gig port to maybe any of your substation, that we also believe will help and transform the digital economy. Thank you very much, and God bless you for this opportunity.
Thank you. I think we'll pick one more question. All right.
Thank you. My name is Tom Chacha. Naomba ni ongea kwa Kiswahili kidogo. Bwana Chairman, na swali moja. Mimi na run radio inaitwa Fibre Africa Radio from the small village Korea, where minority people are coming from. Number one, we have been neglected as minority people. Like for example, from Korea, we don't have electricity. Our electricity comes on and off. Kiasi kwamba we are running our radio, ile kwamba 5 minutes, 10, 20 minutes, muna watu wanakusikiliza. The whole 3, 4, 5 hours you are off air. How are you going to help us so that we may be able to have a permanent power, that we are able to run our business without any problem? Ama ni kwa sababu we are from the minority of from the village there. Nowadays pesa zinatoka kwenye mashinani, watu wanakuja kupata katika mji. Sisi ndio tuna supply chakula hapa. So mtukumbuke wala watu wa mashinani, mtupatie permanent power kiasi kwamba turani biashara kama watu wa Nairobi. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll deal with those questions first. Our panelist, the one who will be tackling the very last question that has been asked, naomba ya kwamba swala hiyo yaangaliwe kwa lugha ya Kiswahili ya sanifa. So maybe we start with that question. Bwana MD.
Okay, let me start with the last, sorry, because of my height. Stable power to Korea and the greater western region, let me say the southern part of the former Nyanza area. What is Ketraco doing about it? Number one is currently we are having, if you drive, you go to Sony Sugar, you will see a line that we're constructing all the way towards Isibania. So it's going on, and it's one of the projects that we plan to have hopefully by Christmas or by January to have it on board. So that means the greater area that is occupied by the Korea community will be supplied with a substation. It's going to be close to Masaba. I'm sure Tom knows more about the location, to ensure that the Kenya Power lines are going to be much shorter and have less people who are onboarded per feeder line. So that's ongoing. So I'm 100% sure by the end of the year, we will be talking about something different. So we have the infrastructure we're doing. So we have a line that comes from Kisi to Awendo. We are pulling the line further all the way to near the border. That is step number one. The second step, because this will only give you improvement, that will solve part of your problem, because currently the whole of the part from, I say everybody from Migori all the way to parts of Kakamega gets applied through Lesos area. Then you have a line that goes to Sondo, so all the way from Kisi is applied to the same line. Ketraco, if you look at, I think today's newspaper, I think we have an advert for a line that we plan to connect from Narok to Bomet. Now, this will allow power to flow from KenGen's geothermal power plants, which are extremely stable, to Narok, to Bomet, Sotik, from Sotik all the way to Kegati, Awendo, Migori. So you'll have ways of supplying directly from the reliable power connection. This is a project that will be starting very shortly. So those are the part of the projects that we plan to ensure that there's reliable power in the area you've talked about. So tunafanya mengi, I talk to PAPs in Swahili, but there's a lot we are doing. I'm sure later, since we have your contacts, we'll give you the whole transmission lines in your areas. We'll get more discussion, because I've just realized that it's very important for even my team to tell people who are going to be beneficiaries on how they benefit for the project. And we get support when we do our projects because people see the impact it comes. So I'm sure Engineer Musyoka and his team will be coming to a FM radio station and our commission team to talk to the wananchi through a radio station to say we are doing a lot. It's just a matter of time. Things are going to get much better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, MD. We hope that when Engineer Musyoka comes, mpatie swali kwa lugha ya Kiswahili.
Okay, thank you. When you were acknowledging our stakeholders, BCS was not represented, but I can see we have the Chief Commercial Manager, Rutwa, and David Owino. Welcome. We recognize you in absentia. Our sister company, KenGen, Blue Violet, you have asked whether the costing was for dark fiber. Yes, it is for dark fiber. We don't do reed fiber for now. Though there is a time we had invited people to do the right fiber for Ethiopia, Kenya, and we did not get a response. Now, also express authority to procure from us. That is why we are here. Don't go home if you are in need of dark fiber. Our team, after this meeting, will have a desk there to onboard you. As I indicated, is that you only need to do a letter to the MD expressing your interest. And because the MD is here, I will request that you sign that letter. The committee that normally look at evaluate the client is here. They will evaluate and we will onboard you. Francis from ICON, the CEO ICON, let me start by saying that my area is covered by your company together with the Safaricom. And we are enjoying the service you are giving to us. You have talked of negotiation on pricing. That one, we are open to that, whereby we will consider the pricing model. And I think I have also answered your question about the dark fiber and light fiber. And let me say that KETRACO, we treat our stakeholders equally. We don't have a price for Safaricom and ICON. For now, we are treating them equally. But I want to talk of a small company in Meru, Wafex. And that's the reason why we are saying that we are open to discussion, because we find that this is a company that is serving a remote area with a coverage of about 50 people. They require our services, and as KETRACO, we are there to serve all the Kenyans. So as far as the pricing model is concerned, we'll have a discussion after this behind the tent. But you heard what the chairman said. We are interested in getting the volume. Thank you.
Maybe a friend on Narok, just to give you some of the Narok Kajiado area. Fiber, we definitely, as I said, we are doing the Olkaria Narok line. Narok is connected to Olkaria, so you can get connected. Then we have the Suswa Isinya line that cuts across Kajiado. Then we have the Isinya Namanga line, which I said by Christmas, we plan to energize the line. Then we have the lines from Sultanamo to Lake Tok Tok. So we have so many transmission lines and fiber cutting across the wider area of both Narok and Bomet. That's what I've just heard. Thank you so much.
Good morning. I wanted to add something first on KenGen. I believe you get capacity from KPLC, and I think that is something you can deal with. We also have fiber all the way up to Tuckwell, which has been on for the last about 2 years. Safaricom have been using it. And one of the challenges which is there is, of course, the investment you need to do. But I'm aware ICTA, through the Digital Spahai project, they're trying to see how they can get cheaper internet to the remote areas. And this is something which they are really working on. And me and my colleague here, we are part of that team. So I believe the government is really keen on this making internet available and these services available to everybody. Thank you.
Regarding the query by Icon Fibre, Francis, on the issue of providing service to the small operators, to the ASPs, and the tier 3 operators, yes, for now Ketraco is not playing in that sector. Currently, Ketraco mostly is for the big 7, as you had mentioned. So there's a gap there. Well, there's always, of course, room for improvement. And this would entail, of course, investing in the DWDM, the equipment, transmission equipment, have presence, co-location presence in the data centers in Mombasa to pick the undersea fiber optic capacities and actually be able to serve those customers you are mentioning. So it's feasible. And since, of course, times are changing and we are involved, I and George, we're involved in the government digitization, the roadmap for 100,000 kilometers. We are exploring how we can create redundancies amongst the different government agencies and also bridge the gaps between the independent networks. Like, for instance, we have Kenya Power, we have Kenya Pipeline, they have their networks, but we must map out and see how we can create one network so that sometimes we can actually swap the traffic and be able to deliver the lead capacities to the ASPs, and they are quite huge actually. So that is an opportunity which Ketraco will definitely explore. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's a question that was brought here to me. It's from the media stations. They're asking, how can TV media stations integrate to this plan of Ketraco? How can TV media stations integrate to this plan of Ketraco? Case scenario, to distribute signal to 36 Signet/PAN sites around the country from our studios. Case in scenario, to distribute signal to 36 Signet/PAN sites around the country from our studios. This is from Eric of Prayer Cave TV. Maybe we can tackle that, then we get 4 more questions.
Thank you. I think that is something which we need to sit down. And one of the reasons why we called the other service providers is since we know who have a connectivity on the backbone on some of those routes, if we sat down with the interested Signet party, we can come up with a solution and we can connect you where you need connectivity and where you need to use our towers. We will give you the nearest, and we can do some design on what you really require. We would try to collaborate with the other players. That's why we called also the other players who have been using our fiber, and they have been willing also for us to look for customers for them. So like we say, this is a win-win. If you give us your locations, your requirements, we can sit down even today and look at what is the optimal way to interconnect your network, whether it's using Ketraco or other providers who use Ketraco's fiber. Thank you.
So, in the interest of time, I will give 4 opportunities to those who have not spoken before. This table I see 3, maybe I'll sacrifice for only 2, and then 2 at the back. So, yes, we can start with that table.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Father James Ntikagatiti from the Diocese of Embu. In the Diocese of Embu, we have an FM station called Kimure, a diocesan radio. Now, our problem is in Embu we have our own tower. But you know, the frequency we are given by the CA is supposed to cover Embu County. And we are not able to cover Embu County because the place where we have placed our tower is not covering our clients. So I am asking now, with this arrangement you have talked about, I think we require a visibility study in Embu to know where your towers are, so that we can really cover our listeners in Embu who say that they don't get our radio because of where we have placed our tower. Because it is 1/4 of Embu County, which is supposed to be, which is Embu Diocese, which is covered by our radio. So I'm asking now, how can we benefit ourselves from what you have discussed here? Thank you very much.
Thank you. We can have 2 questions from that. Yes, and then we'll have.
Thank you. My name is Oruto from Bandwidth and Cloud Services. My question is to Kimandu, collocation. If you check the few sites that we are collocating with you, the substations, each of us is behaving like the village where every son, if you have 10 sons, they come and build 10 houses, 10 kitchens instead of having one big house. Can you consider doing for us a central data center? Then we can come and place our equipment there. And to the MD, so that you think about that. We stop scattering and cluttering our data centers there.
Thank you. My name is Peter Mutinda from the Catholic Diocese of Kitui, which operates under Wamini Communications Limited. We have 24 radio stations. And this is such an opportunity. I heard you mention of a plan between 2008 and 2042, God willing, if I will be there. We look forward to expanding our reach to cover at least our favorite, listeners. When I was following up the discussions, I heard even the PS mention the struggles and the frustrations of missing his favorite radio station. So we look forward to actually partnering with you in this particular area, especially when we are expanding our reach. I also heard the planning committee talk about expanding to Wote, where coincidentally I am born in, that is Makueni County. And I would wish to hear from Engineer Mativo, my brother there, how far maybe you're planning to cover Wote specifically and Kitui, now that I work in Kitui and I'm born in Makueni. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I see the answers still many, so I'll request that you give the mic to the gentleman to the left. Gibson. I know we still have so many questions. What I want to promise is after this, we'll have a team from Ketraco who will remain behind. These 2 tables will be reserved for more detailed discussion. So in case your question is not tackled, bear with us, but we'll remain here for several minutes so that all other concerns can be tackled.
Morning everyone.
I'm James Jogonda from Safaricom, and thanks for the partnership in fiber business. My question is regards to the tower leasing. So from what you've said, you've got the fiber connectivity and the towers. For those areas that are outside the KPLC footprint, I think one of the biggest barriers to leasing the towers will be the cost of energy. So my ask would be for those prime locations, maybe a few prime locations, would you be willing to offer energy as a service so that you've got connectivity, the tower and energy, especially where you can have several people collocating, because without the energy being there, it will be very hard for people to invest separately. Just echoing back to what Oruto was talking about, the data center, I think energy is going to be very important for those prime locations away from the grid. Thank you.
Thank you. Just, there's a gentleman at the back was really been straining for, that will be our final question for this time, but as I've said, please welcome after we've given the final prayer. There will be 2 tables here reserved for further discussion.
Good morning. My name is Sami Oyanda from Western Kenya, the Vihiga FM radio station. I'm the CEO. My question, maybe I've got 2 questions. I didn't get it clear when you talked of charging us $35 US dollars. I don't know, I didn't get it well whether you meant $35 per day, per month, or per year or so. So I was wondering, this $35 per kilometer is from where to where? My radio station is at Mbale. That is at the heart of Vihiga. And our transmission, our signal gets lost. In fact, we don't even get to Kisumu. From Mbale, it comes straight to Ahero. So how are we going to benefit from this arrangement? Otherwise, when I go back to $35, it is too much for our radio stations, especially in the rural areas. Because you know very well that our radio stations in the rural areas, we depend on our product for sale. And our product for sale in the all radio stations in Kenya or in the world is airtime. And we depend on Mama Mboga, we depend on few whatever we can get from there. We don't have factories, big factories and so on, whereby tunaweza kupata watu ambao wanaweza kutupatia hizo $35, we pay you. How did you arrive onto $35? Did you involve the people in the rural areas where we are striving to get a shilling per day? Thank you.
Our panelists will tackle, I think there are like 6 questions.
Oh, thank you so much. Let me acknowledge the presence of Mr. Kebaso Mokonji, the MD of Fibre. I don't know if I was told he's here. Thank you so much. Asante sana for gracing this occasion. Karibu sana. I'll answer part of the questions, especially to do with infrastructure, what you're providing. Then the technical issues and cost, my colleagues will answer that. Let me start with Embu Diocese. Ketraco is currently working on a project from Kamburu all the way to Embu and connected to Kutus. So what you're basically saying is, one, that we have the transmission line that cuts across that whole area and also connects into the Kenya Power network. So we see ourselves giving you a reach beyond the Embu area in terms of, and the grid also gets connected all the way to Mombasa, to Ethiopia. So what you're saying is that as long as you have the frequency that have been allocated, whether it's somebody from Embu who loves listening to your Embu Diocese FM radio station. Even in Mombasa can pick it, depend on your reach. So we are providing the facility for you to reach beyond the borders. We're giving the facilities to extend within kilometers from our transmission line, even for the ones who are in Embu. That's a project that is ongoing. Similarly for Kitui, as I said, Kitui County, we have the line that comes from Kindaruma, Mwingi, Kitui. We have some 3 months worth of work between Kitui and Wote all the way to Sultan Ahmad. We plan to do a later line at Mutomo going down. So what we're doing is that in these locations, yes, we'll have substations that have power, but secondly, that we provide you areas that cut across your whole county in terms of where you can hook up and partner with us to have a wider reach. So that's ongoing. There's already a lot we've done. We have the line that our chairman was mentioning that runs all the way from Mwingi all the way to the border with Tana River. This cuts across an area of in Kitui. So again, that's another transmission line that you can ride along. For Vihiga, I know you've asked about cost, and my colleagues will come and explain, because we have cost at Safaricom, and we're now coming to a new business of bringing FM radio stations. He'll explain our thinking, but I know we'll go into details. But we plan to start very soon a line from Kisumu through Kakamega, and Kakamega passes through parts of Vihiga all the way to Musaga. Again, I believe this will also give you a chance to expand to parts of your area, but also for your listeners who live beyond Vihiga County to be able to listen to your FM radio station. So that's what we already have done, and what we plan to do to give you that additional locations where you can actually expand in reaching bigger listeners outside your traditional area that you broadcast to. I'll be requesting my colleagues to come and add more details. There's something about considered where we can share co-locations and the rest.
Thank you, MD. Trudy Mungai, phone communication, we recognize your presence. Trudy, we recognize your presence. I'll do 2, co-location and Vihiga FM. Orutwa, yes, we are in agreement that as far as co-location is concerned, we need to put you people together, not everybody to come with his own data center. That one we are considering. The FM from Vihiga, our business is different, and I want to clarify here. We only provide dark fiber. Dark fiber here means it is like a highway. We don't do the last mile. We provide a highway. Then from that highway now, Safaricom, Icon, BCS, Airtel, they now pick from the highway to the last mile. So as there is nowhere we are directly dealing with the last customer. The last customer is being dealt with the service providers. As we provide the highway, what we are calling the dark fiber. And for the price, the $35 or the $25, it is per core per kilometer. Safaricom will say we are taking Nairobi, Mombasa, which is 510 kilometers. And in fact, Safaricom and Francis and all these other service providers, they should now assist the final customer. But with the time, that is where Ketraco is going. That we want also to interact with the final customer. But for now, Francis, Icon, and BCS kindly assist those FM radios and stations. I hope we are together. Thank you, sir.
Proposed to the design and construction team in Ketraco that for future substations, there should be consideration for the telecommunications operators, so that once future stations, when they're being designed, they should actually include the modern collocation facilities. And also, given that signal regeneration for most equipment happens at a distance of about 60 kilometers to 80 kilometers, the future transmission lines in their design, they should be need to have a provision under the tower where the customers can actually have their equipment placed. This is to avoid what we are doing now. Like Mombasa, Nairobi, we had to go back and construct a wall under the tower to host our customers. So these are the things which definitely KETRACO will consider for the future. Thank you.
All right, I think that brings us to the end of this session. I want to recognize the presence of Mr. Waweru from the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy. Mr. Waweru, karibu sana, karibu sana. So let's give a round of applause to our panelists as they resume their seats. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I also want to thank all the sets of questions that you have received. One thing that I've seen clear, and anybody who is in KETRACO has noticed, there's no one person who has called us KENTRACO. Everyone has said KETRACO, because this is one thing we've been struggling with. You say KETRACO, KETRACO, and then they invite it to KENTRACO, until somebody someday suggested, why, maybe we should call ourselves KENTRACO, so that they can call us KETRACO. Because, you know, sometimes when you're fighting a name so much, it's more, the more it gets stuck on you. So thank you so much, our stakeholders. At this moment, I want to call Dr. Kimando to just give a brief remark.
Thank you, our MC, for the day. We have been able to at least tell the stakeholders what we can offer, and we are ready to offer. El Nino is coming. And for those stakeholders who are using the underground cable, you are in trouble. And that is why we are beseeching you to come. And I'll leave you with a word from the book of Ezekiel 33, verse 3. When the watchman, in this case KETRACO, sees the enemy coming, El Nino is coming, he sounds the alarm to warn the people. Then if those who hear the alarm refuses to take action, it is their own fault if they die. They heard the alarm but ignored it. So the responsibility is theirs. Amen? We want to take your responsibility. We have sound an alarm that El Nino is coming. You will lose your business, but we are here. In fact, were it not for that, we did not have enough time. Engineer Wamkota would have told you about the foundation. The foundation, before we start the construction of this tower, the foundation down there, I have read, it is like the one that was built by Noah during the ark time. It is a firm foundation. So the alarm is there. Come, leave your comfort zone. Why should you invest on another ground cable when we are saying that si maneno ilisemekana ni matatu, mambo ni matatu, ya tatu ni kwenda biguni. Sisi tunaelekea biguni. We are approaching heaven with our towers. So kindly come join us, and we are ready to serve you. Thank you so much. I now invite Sarah, our manager, business development, to pass a vote of thanks. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Mugo. I'm the manager business development. It's a great pleasure and honor to see all of you. Thank you for coming to the event. And I would like to start by thanking you for making time out of your busy schedules to come to the breakfast meeting. In absentia, I would like to start by thanking the Principal Secretary of the State Department of Energy, Mr. Alex Washira, for gracing the event. I would also like to thank the KETRACO Board of Directors led by the Chairman, Mr. Abdi Dwale, and the MD, Dr. Engineer John Matibo. I would also like to thank all CEOs, directors, deputy directors, managers, and representatives from various institutions who have graced this occasion. I would also like to thank the media and recognize their presence. Lastly, I would like to thank the committee that put together this event and the BOMA team for hosting the whole team. Thank you, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Sarah, for that. I think we have come to the end. I just want to emphasize the advice or the warning that we have been given by Reverend Njogu that tusijikute huko mwisho, 2-3 years line, those who did not change based on the advice that we were given, because tutakuwa tutasema tulikuwa tumewaona. Asanteni sana. And so at this time, I'd like us to rise so that we may share the grace. All right. And may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Asanteni sana. Ladies and gentlemen, you may leave at your own pleasure. As I announced, these 2 tables in front will be reserved for those who have further questions or want to have further discussion with the KETRACO team. So you may leave. Have a blessed day. May God keep you, and thank you for honoring our invite. Asanteni sana.
Have you ever wondered where the electricity that powers your life comes from? This is the story of how electricity powers Kenya, uniting progress with possibility. Behind the scenes, the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum orchestrates collaboration among all players. The ministry is responsible for the development and implementation of policies that facilitate provision of clean, sustainable, affordable, reliable, and secure energy services for national development. In the heart of Kenya's natural wonders, the journey of electricity begins. Exploration is the first step. The Kenya Electricity Generating Company (PLC), KenGen, and the Geothermal Development Company (GDC) delve into the Earth's core to harness geothermal energy. But it's not just geothermal. Other renewable sources like solar and wind are harvested too, contributing to a cleaner energy mix. Hydroelectric energy is one of the most common forms of renewable energy in the world. This technology uses the power of moving water to generate electricity that powers our lives. To meet Kenya's growing energy needs, the country plans to generate electricity using nuclear power from 2034. 2 potential sites have already been identified by the Nuclear Power and Energy Agency, NUPEA. Besides being a stable baseload, nuclear will boost Kenya's decarbonization agenda for climate change mitigation. It's now time to transmit the generated power over vast distances. Enter the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, KETRACO. KETRACO's network of high voltage lines ensures the country's electricity grid is stable and reliable. At the KETRACO substations, high voltage electricity is stepped down to consumable voltages. You're most familiar with Kenya Power. Kenya Power plays a vital role of taking the stepped down electric power and distributes to our homes, schools, hospitals, among other places. There's an active plan to ensure that everyone, from the bustling cities to remote villages, enjoys the convenience of electricity. The Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, REREC, offers subsidized electricity in our rural areas. REREC extends power to off-grid areas, lighting up lives where Kenya power lines haven't been accessed. And now, we get back to you, the consumer. This intriguing journey of electricity ends at your home. With a simple flick of a switch, your water is heated, your clothes are ironed, and you can stream your favorite program. But who ensures the sector's integrity? That's the work of the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, which ensures quality and fairness in energy supply. Next time you light up your home, remember that a symphony of efforts from KenGen, GDC, KETRACO, Kenya Power, REREC and EPRA, led by the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum, blend harmoniously to ensure a brighter future for you, your loved ones and your business. Have you ever wondered where the electricity that powers your life comes from? This is the story of how electricity powers Kenya, uniting progress with possibility. Behind the scenes, the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum orchestrates collaboration among all players. The ministry is responsible for the development and implementation of policies that facilitate provision of clean, sustainable, affordable, reliable and secure energy services for national development. In the heart of Kenya's natural wonders, the journey of electricity begins. Exploration is the first step. The Kenya Electricity Generating Company (PLC), KenGen, and the Geothermal Development Company (GDC) delve into the Earth's core to harness geothermal energy. But it's not just geothermal. Other renewable sources like solar and wind are harvested too, contributing to a cleaner energy mix. Hydroelectric energy is one of the most common forms of renewable energy in the world. This technology uses the power of moving water to generate electricity that powers our lives. To meet Kenya's growing energy needs, the country plans to generate electricity using nuclear power from 2034. 2 potential sites have already been identified by the Nuclear Power and Energy Agency, NUPEA. Besides being a stable baseload, nuclear will boost Kenya's decarbonization agenda for climate change mitigation. It's now time to transmit the generated power over vast distances. Enter the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, KETRACO. KETRACO's network of high voltage lines ensures the country's electricity grid is stable and reliable. At the KETRACO substations, high voltage electricity is stepped down to consumable voltages. You're most familiar with Kenya Power. Kenya Power plays a vital role of taking the stepped down electric power and distributes to our homes, schools, hospitals, among other places. There's an active plan to ensure that everyone, from the bustling cities to remote villages, enjoys the convenience of electricity. The Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, REREC, offers subsidized electricity in our rural areas. REREC extends power to off-grid areas